And welcome back to the Arc Arena. Sorry about the delay. Mishaps with some of the referees and trying to figure out the location. So we're about a minute away from tip-off, unable to really get into a pregame. But a big matchup here between the 3-9 Medgar Evers Cougars and the 9-3 Baruch Bearcats. Leading the way in scoring for the Bearcats this year. Number 15, Andre Harris at over 16, Bryler Page at about 15, and William Sixsmith with 14. So how big is it, Jamal, for Baruch really to get a hold on this game early and pounce all over the Cougars, no pun intended?
It's definitely important for the Bearcats to get an early lead. Definitely good for the Bearcats to have a good game today because they're going against a CUNY Act Conference opponent who's 2-2 right now. The Bearcats are now 3-0 in the CUNY Act Conference. And they lead the CUNY Act Conference at 3-0. With Medgar Evers being down towards the middle of the pack, towards the bottom, you definitely want to take advantage of this matchup today.
And definitely a big matchup as, you lead into this week. You have York at York on Monday, and then the big matchup between what is currently standing two undefeated CUNY Act teams in Brooklyn College and Baruch. Lehman next Saturday. Don't forget to tune in for that, both Wednesday and Saturday live on YouTube channel Baruch Bearcats Broadcasting. Brooklyn College, like I said, undefeated, 2-0 currently in the CUNY Act. Playing today at Lehman. Game just tipped off a little bit ago. And then, like I said, home against Lehman. Don't forget to tune in. It's going to be Alumni Day, and we're going to be honoring former athletic director Ray Rankus. And then, of course, at Staten Island on January 16th, Jamal. So the schedule picks up heavy, and it's extremely important if you're the Bearcats to really get it going today in conference play and trying to pounce on some of these smaller teams. Not smaller in stature, but smaller in terms of record.
Yeah, it's definitely good for the Bearcats to do that and want to walk away here victorious because they have a big stretch next week where they're going to be playing almost every other day. They're going to definitely have to bring their A game to get up for these games. And he'll come out Monday at York, Wednesday at Brooklyn, and then Saturday at Lehman. It's going to be a tough matchup, but it's good to start off on a good note and walk away with the win out of here.
Especially when you're playing at home, you have to win your home games.
Yeah.
Tonight, Medgar Evers will be wearing their black road jerseys, gold trim. Their starting lineup today for the Medgar Evers College Cougars. At guard, number 3, Justin Sutton. At the other guard, number 15, Giancarlo Bonilla. At the third guard, number 32, Daryl Spalding. At the forward position, number 14, Musa Senera. And at the center, number 12, Japheth Thomas. And for your Baruch Bearcats, wearing their home whites, light blue trim, dark blue numbers. Starting at the 3 guard positions, number 1, Jack Sixsmith. Number 2, Bryler Page. Number 3, William Sixsmith. Starting at the 2 forward positions, number 15, Andre Harris and George Smith Jr. And George Smith Jr. may have his hands full a little bit today in the early going. Japheth Thomas and Andre Harris for the tip, but George Smith Jr. may be the primary defender on Japheth Thomas, coming in at 6'5" and really 6'6", and really giving Medgar Evers some length.
Definitely is going to be a tough matchup for George Smith. But the Bearcats have a lot of bodies at that size, so you're going to be seeing a lot of spelling going on here.
Now Bryler Page drives. High floater, no good, just off right rim. Rebounded there by Medgar Evers, and it's going to be Sutton that comes away with it. Spalding has it now in the backcourt, giving it off to Senera. Senera has it, looking for options. Goes past Thomas, uses that pick. Handoff there to number 15, Bonilla. Now up top to Sutton. Sutton working on Page. Sutton into the lane. No basket. Foul's going to be at number 2, Bryler Page. It's going to be side out right in front of the Baruch bench. Already seeing a quick tempo here in the early going at the Arc Arena. Foul's going to be at number 3, William Sixsmith on a reach. They're going to correct that, and it'll be back to the original call of Bryler Page. Now Senera has it, gives it off to Japheth Thomas. Sutton has it on top of the key. Pull-up jumper. Bryler Page defends that. Sutton shot around and out. Rebounded there by Spalding. Bonilla gets it on the right wing. Spalding has it up top. Ball swung around, looking for Thomas in the paint, working on Smith. Now it's Sutton to drive. Spin move, stolen away by Sixsmith, and he's looking for options. Gives it off to Harris. Harris right to the rim and lays it in with the finger roll. Nice play there by Sixsmith and Harris.
Great play right there. Andre Harris from Sixsmith to Harris. Baruch on the board early.
Bonilla, left corner three, no good. Rebound and tipped it out. Last off Spalding, and it'll go back to Baruch. And thank you for tuning in for the second game. In the first game, the Baruch ladies were able to pull off their second victory of the season, winning 71-59 against these Medgar Everett Cougars. It'll be William Sixsmith in the front court. Pull up three. Knocks that one down. William Sixsmith getting the hot hand early.
Baruch Bearcats out to an early good start. 5 points. 2 from Andre Harris and a 3 by William Sixsmith.
Handoff now Bonilla, left wing. He drives into the paint, steps back, gives it off to Thomas. Thomas working on Smith Jr. Gives it back outside, left wing three. Off back rim, no good. Bryler Page comes away with the rebound, puts it on the floor. And it'll be Jack Sixsmith to bring it into the front court. Nice move there, blows past Spalding. Sixsmith left wing three, rattles that one home. William Sixsmith starting hot, and it's going to be a timeout for Coach Brian Nigro and the Medgar Everett College Cougars. A little over 2 minutes gone here in the first half. Baruch leading 8-0, and what a start here. William Sixsmith, 2 of 2 from three, Jamal, both with a hand in his face.
William Sixsmith is doing what he normally does. You know, that's his range right there. Once he gets that ball and he goes to fire off, he gets the three-pointer most of the time, and then he's been fortunate that those three-pointers are able to fall down. You got William Sixsmith with 2 early threes, and Andre Harris with that early layup.
So Coach Nigro wanted to talk stuff over early, not really liking how his Cougars set up in the early going, letting Sixsmith rattle home both of those threes. 2 minutes gone here in the ball game. Sutton has it left wing. Sinera into the paint. He's falling over, and it's going to be a travel on number 14, Musa Sinera, the freshman from the Bronx.
Yeah, that was a play. We just put his head down and tried to go right at the defender. And unfortunately, he traveled, and the ball be going the other way to the Bearcats with Jack Sixsmith bringing the ball up. Sit over to Andre Harris.
Andre Harris drives, baseline jumper, no good. Rebounded there by Sinera for the Cougars, and Bonilla will push into the front court. Bryler Page sneaking up on him, but it'll be Spalding up top now, back to Bonilla. Bonilla right wing three, off back rim, a little too strong, but it'll be Spalding on the rebound. Spin move, looks like it went off his foot, and it's going to go right into the hands of Bryler Page, who will push into the front court.
Good pass.
Andre Harris finishing at the rim, and one opportunity for Andre Harris.
Good
his
pass.
Second bucket of the evening.
That all started with Bryler Page keeping his head up, keeping his dribble going, finding the cutting Andre Harris on that play in transition. Great play right there between Bryler Page and Andre Harris.
Number 22, Sean Webb Jr. out of Harlem, New York, checks into the game, coming to the bench. Darrell Spalding.
Baruch Bearcats has definitely come out here in a hurry and has definitely put up a lot of points here in the early going.
And Andre Harris knocks down the three-point play. So a quick 5 points there for Harris. 6 from Sixsmith. And that'll be Webb calling out the offense for Coach Nigro. Pick there by Thomas. Webb doesn't use it. It's going to go back out to Bonilla. Back up top to Webb. Thinks about the right wing three. Jack Sixsmith out on him. Webb rattles that one home. Nice shot by Webb. And he's got his first shot to drop.
Good way for the Cougars to get on the board right there with the early three. Let's see if the Bearcats will come back down and answer on the offensive end.
Jack Sixsmith almost, taunting him into shooting by giving him that much space. Nice pass there by Bryler Page inside to Andre Harris. He's double teamed. Finds Sixsmith cutting. Nice finish at the rim by Jack Sixsmith. Nice patience there by Harris.
Way to wait, be patient, find the cut in Jack Sixsmith on the layup down the lane.
Webb's three, no good. Off front rim, rebounded there. Sinera hits the deck, tries to force it out. It's going to be a kick ball on Baruch, and it'll stay with Medgar Evers underneath.
See definitely Webb coming back down for the Cougars, feeling it. Landed 3 fly from deep three-point range.
Less in rhythm, though. I feel like the shot he hit earlier was, the ball was moving around for the Cougars,
right,
and he was able to be open to hit that shot. As now it's Sinera up top, swung it around to Bonilla left wing. Thomas wants it in the post, but it'll be Sinera back up top and Webb on left wing. Webb drives, up and under layup. Nice play there off glass by Sean Webb. His second bucket of the afternoon.
Good way to work over the tall Andre Harris there. Get that scoop layup to fall.
Bryler Page takes the pick from George Smith Jr. Andre Harris, nice spin around jump shot, and he's able to knock it down. Andre Harris is feeling it early. Already 3 baskets for the senior. And it's going to be an offensive foul. The foul is going to be on number 3, Justin Sutton. Naquava Jackson and Travis James both checking into the game for the Cougars. Baruch still with their starting 5. It'll be Webb on Page. Jack Sixsmith comes across. Bonilla will cover him, and you can see Medgar Evers starting to play that zone, and Andre Harris going to take too many steps. There'll be a turnover for Baruch, and it'll go back to the Cougars.
See, maybe the Cougars right now want to cause a little bit of havoc. Catch the Baruch players slipping in a trap. See, they was able to cut Harris right there for the travel.
And Webb takes the pick from Thomas. A little crossover move out to Bonilla now in the corner. Step back jumper from the elbow. Around and out, no good. And Harris comes away with the rebound. And it'll be Sixsmith to push. Sixsmith gets blocked there. Tough to go over number 12, Japheth Thomas, in his 6'6" frame. Checking into the game is number 33 for the Bearcats, Alan Villar.
Yeah, you know, with a player like Thomas, the Bearcats right now, we had Alan Villar checking in. He's definitely going to work against Thomas.
And Alan Villar able to work quickly with the right hand and finish at the rim. His first basket.
That's definitely going to be a good matchup right there.
Webb calling out the offense for the Cougars. Jack Sixsmith on him, and now be Bonilla up top. William Sixsmith picks him up. Now to Thomas on the top of the key, over to James. James bounce pass to Thomas.
Good
and
move.
now Thomas able to finish under, almost up and under Alan Villar.
Yeah, he was able to work around there, keep his pivot foot down, and get up and under on Alan Villar.
Andre Harris has it up top. Brother Page. Now Villar gets the post position. Can't finish, and Andre Harris tips it in. Nice play there.
Good way to follow up there by Harris. And that one looked like it could have came out on that one.
Baruch really having their way on the offensive end. Currently 8 for 12 at 67%. And we've seen them shoot lights out this year. Back outside. It's going to be Webb, right wing 3, off back rim. Rebounded there by Page. And Breiler into the front court for Baruch. Gives it off to Harris. Harris crossover move. It's going to be an offensive foul.
Even though he was moving.
And that's Andre Harris's first foul of the afternoon. Bonilla has it up top for the Cougars. Sixsmith on him, gives it off to Thomas. It'll be Jackson, right wing 3, no good. Rebounded by Harris. Baruch lead by 12, 6.5 gone here in the first. Jack Sixsmith has it up top, takes the pick from Harris left. Now has Bonilla on him. Looking for options, bounce pass into Harris. Nice bounce pass to William Sixsmith, Finds Brother Page underneath. Can't get the shot to drop, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Nice ball movement there from Sixsmith to Harris to Sixsmith to Page. 2 different Sixsmiths.
But it all goes back to good decision-making right there, because William Sixsmith caught the pass on the baseline and could have went up for the shot, but he was aware of what was happening, pulled back, and was able to find Browder Page on the baseline for that layup before he was fouled.
Page off on the first. Medgar Evers 1 of 7 in the early going from 3. Once again, really relying on that 3 ball as we saw in the last game also. Page knocks that one down. And then Joseph Sakino checking into the game as Bryler Page comes to the bench. Sakino, the freshman out of Verona, New Jersey. Only averaging 11 minutes right now, but seeing more game time as the season progresses per game. Webb has it now right into the lane, going up against Villar. Handoff to number 23, Timothy Bush, who was just in. His shot gets deflected, and it'll be Baruch to push the other way. Now Zucchino has it in the corner, gives it up to Sixsmith. Now Andre Harris underneath. He gets double-teamed, even almost triple-teamed. Puts the ball on the floor, gives it to Villar, loses that. Villar almost loses it again, and now it's out to Sixsmith. And Baruch really looking sloppy on the underneath. I think Alan Villar might have been close to a travel right there.
Yeah.
And nice find there by Harris to Villar. Villar misses, but comes away with his own rebound. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Off glass with the left hand and able to finish.
Good way to clean that up for Alan Villar right there.
A little fortunate on the play before.
Right.
It looks like he got deflected, but didn't let the ball drop. Close to being a charge as Webb gets his top of the key jumper off. No good as Bush and Villar fight for it. It'll be Baruch's ball, though, as they come away with it. 12-15 remaining. Baruch lead by 15 here in the early going. Andre Harris has it at the free throw line. Looking for options. Jack Sixsmith is his option. Right corner three. Knocks that one down. Jack Sixsmith. His first points of the game.
And a big three-pointer as that put the Bearcats up by 18.
And the Sixsmith brothers really having it their way, knocking down 3 threes here in the early going between the two of them. That'll be Jackson into the paint. Runner, no good. And the foul there is going to be on number 5, Naquava Jackson.
I was surprised that he was able to actually hit the rim because it looked like he just ran into the defender and just threw the shot up.
Wild shot there as Jack Reese checks into the game for the Bearcats. Jack Sixsmith comes to the bench. So for Baruch, it's Reese, William Sixsmith, Zucchino, Villar, and George Smith Jr. also just checking back in. William Sixsmith has it now. Looking for options. High pass there to Villar. Goes off the backboard, actually, and Sean Webb comes away with it for the Medgar Evers. Now Sutton, left wing three. Ooh, knocks that one down. It's actually going to be a 2. Make it 25-9, Baruch lead.
The play in transition by Sutton. Just for the pull-up two-pointer, was able to knock it down.
Reese takes the pick from from George Smith. William Sixsmith in the corner now. Goes in, tries the layup, can't finish. It'll be Webb to come away with the rebound for the Cougars. He goes right into the lane against 3 guys, able to finish off the rim. Nice play there, off glass, Nice play there by Sean Webb.
Whether it's getting to the rim or shooting from three-pointer, Webb has definitely been answering the call for the Cougars.
Now Villar, turnover there. It's going to be Bush quickly the other way. And he's fouled there by number 33, Alan Villar. The foul's going to be on Villar. That'll send Timothy Bush, the center from Bushwick High School in Brooklyn, to the line to shoot 2. He's off back rim on the first. Andre Harris checking into the game. Alan Villar will come to the bench. So Andre Harris a quick breather, and he's quickly back in for Coach Alisi. Checking into the game for Medgar Evers, number 34, Isaiah Garvey Mawazi. Handoff now to Zucchino. George Smith has it up top. Gives it over to Zucchino, takes the pick from Smith. Bounce pack it inside, and Smith has a wide open layup. Nice pick and roll there between Zucchino and Smith.
Good way to catch the defense, not paying attention on that play.
Webb has it, almost drags the pivot foot now. Mawazi. Over to Webb, left wing 3. Reese closes out on him. He knocks it down. And Sean Webb's been very impressive in the early going here for the Cougars.
Yeah, 10 points, shooting over 50% from the field and three-pointer. It's definitely been the reason why they're still in this game right now.
Baruch able to break down that press and get the ball into the front court. Double pick there. It's going to be Harris up top. He thinks about the 3, puts it on a dribble. One dribble, pull up 3, off back rim, no good. Rebounded there by Garvey Mawazi. And it'll be Webb into the front court for the Cougars. Working on Sixsmith. Spin move into the lane. That's going to be a jump ball. Ball's going to stay with Medgar Evers underneath. Check into the game, number 2, Brylar Page is back in as Sixsmith comes to the bench. A little more than midway gone here in the first half. Baruch lead 27-14. This is the second game of our doubleheader today here at the Arc Arena. James gives it off to Webb, left wing. He was feeling it earlier, a little bit short on that one. Smith Jr. comes away with it, and it'll be Jack Reese to bring it up for the Bearcats. Crossover move, and that's going to be a backcourt violation. The back leg on that crossover move just comes back across the line.
Yeah.
And it's all about awareness on that one.
Fortunately, he wasn't aware of where he was on the court.
Hey, down. Tim, down, get in, Tim.
And Travis James will have it up top for the Cougars. James into the paint. Dish off to Bush. Bush's shot blocked by I think, Andre Harris underneath him, and George Smith Jr. were both there. It's going to be Reese now up to Bryler Page. Bounce pass inside. Harris creating position. He's double teamed now. It's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to stay with Baruch. Nice defensive play there by the Cougars. Once Harris had that position, they swarmed on him to force the jump ball.
No, it was definitely a great play by the Bearcats, being aware on offense. You know, Bush and his size come in at 6'6", so you definitely want to be able to put a body on him, and they both were able to do so.
Bryler Page shot off on the right side there. Medgar Evers come away with the rebound. Now it's going to be Sutton's three off back rim. Rebounded there by Zucchino. Zucchino's going to push, looking for options as he run point. Bounce pass inside, stolen by Webb as he was trying to find Jack Reese back door. Webb into the front court. Hands off to Sutton. Sutton back to Webb left wing. Reese on him. Webb's going to drive. Nice defensive help there by Zucchino. Webb throws it right into the waiting chest of Bryler Page.
Wonder if he should have just went straight up.
And an easy walk-in layup by Bryler Page with 8:16 remaining. It's going to be a timeout, and I think Sean Webb was a little bit hurt, and Coach Nigro is going to get him on him about that. So it's going to be a timeout for Medgar Evers with 8:16 remaining. You're watching Baruch Basketball on YouTube channel, Baruch Bearcats Broadcasting.
In New York City, there is a place for people that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, where if you work hard, the possibilities are endless. A place to learn, train, and play. In that order, the City University of New York Athletic Conference. This is where it all comes together. Find your people, be a part of a team, and don't just play the game, change the game. Champions aren't born, they're built. The City University of New York. Be exceptional.
And welcome back to the Arc Arena. 8:16 remaining here in the first half. Baruch lead 29-14 here on YouTube channel Baruch Bearcats Broadcasting. And it's going to be Reese, Zucchino, Smith Jr., Andre Harris, and Bryler Page for Baruch, where it's going to be Sutton, Bush, Garvey, Mawazi, Spalding, and number 11, Travis James for the Cougars. Reese out on Spalding now. Webb coming to the bench. Jamal and I talked a little bit during the break. Was he hurt, or what the situation was? Because Bryler Page able to get that open backdoor layup on that last play. Checking back into the game for Medgar Evers is going to be number 15, Bonilla, and number 12, Japheth Thomas. And for your Bearcats, number 30, for the first time tonight, Asaph Charles will check in, standing in at 6'9".
Definitely want to see if he can use his height to his advantage.
Speaking of height, though, Jamal, we've done a bunch of games now, and it's rare that, I think Baruch over the few years that we've done it has had a lot of height and a lot of size.
Right.
But it's rare that you see some teams be able to really match on Baruch's size as Asaph Charles knocks down that layup. But you're looking at this team in Medgar Evers. They got 6'6" Thomas. You have 6'5" Patrick Sr., who's a freshman. We don't know if we'll see him today. But Timothy Bush also coming in at 6'6". You have 6'4" Kamara. So you have options. Garvey Mawazi is also 6'4", so you have options to throw at Baruch's bigger guys.
Right. Although they do have options, the Baruch Bearcats, one advantage of their big men is their size, not only in height but in width. Villar, George Smith Jr., they're very strong players, and they could use their size to get around defenders and as well as put a body on them.
Yeah, and you're not going to be able to, way with Baruch's going this year, they have four guys probably that they use regularly in Villar, Boateng, Charles, Smith Jr. and Andre Harris, all 6'5" and taller. You're not going to be able to continuously throw size at them, but this Medgar Evers team is a team that we've seen has some bodies that can match up to some of the size Baruch has, which in some games we've come in and we blatantly said we're not really sure who's going to be covering Villar, who's going to be covering Smith Jr., who's going to be covering Harris. Well, they've been able to throw different looks at some of these players. Granted, still trailing by 17, but then again, you also have to work with that size and be able to force some of the players outside of the paint. Baruch's been living in that paint in the early going as Charles misses the second. Bonilla has it now on the right wing. Nice defense there by Zucchino. Crossover move by Spalding on Jack Sixsmith, recently checked into the game. Sutton, baseline jumper. Shot's no good. Thomas on the rebound. I think it's going to be an over-the-back foul on number 1, Jack Sixsmith.
Yeah, Jack Sixsmith stuck his hand in there. Got to love the effort, but...
And a name we haven't really called much this season, let alone today. DeAndre Gibbs checking into the game. DeAndre Gibbs only averaging 3.5 minutes per game this season.
But I know he's excited to get out on the court right now.
Now Bonilla has a left wing working on Gibbs. Now Thomas on the baseline. Smith Jr. on him. Charles right underneath with some help. Now Bonilla, left wing, thinks about the three. He pulls off front rim. No good. Charles comes away with the rebound. And he's going to be a tough guy to move for any team, but let alone this Medgar Evers team.
Move or even jump over.
Pick there for Gibbs with Smith Jr. Jack Sixsmith trying to find Charles. Now up top to Page. Inside to Smith Jr. Right-hand floater. No good. Rebounded there by Thomas. And Asaph Charles going up for that rebound. Fouls Thomas, and Thomas is down. And he has yet to get back up. He's holding the back of his head. And that was a hard fall.
Anytime you fall down on the hard way, you never know how you're gonna take it.
See, I find this very interesting. You know, he's holding his head as we walk down the court. We heard it hit. The fact that he doesn't have to come out of the game. I mean, at this level, I granted it's not, it's D3 basketball, but
right.
Oh, he is coming out of the game. There we go. Japheth Thomas comes to the bench as he's holding his head, and you still, like, regardless of what level it is, you still have to protect these players because no player is ever going to say, I'm hurting right now, let me come out.
Right.
Unless you see it visibly, like a concussion or something like that. It's not easy to see. I'm glad that, I don't know if the refs made him come out right there, but at least Coach Nigro's taking him out, and he's going to get looked over by a trainer.
Yeah. I mean, it's important to protect the players from themselves.
But it's just, I don't know, in terms of safety, I mean, if this was like any higher division or more of a, then a shot there by Sutton, but more of a commercially televised game, I mean, they would have to come out of the game. So I'm happy to see that even at, I understand our place in the basketball realm, but you still have to understand that player safety, health, and concern is a big thing.
Yeah.
Nice shot there by George Smith Jr. on the baseline.
From D1 all the way down to D3,
I mean, from the NBA all the way down to independent leagues, D3. I mean, oh, wow, what a play there by Bonilla. Flipping it, falling down the court off the glass. Circus shot there for Bonilla. But at any level of the game, I mean, head injuries are really not something to mess around with in a lot of different sports. And granted, basketball is not too much head contact, but it is still a physical game as Bryler Page gets it in the paint. And it's going to go off the leg of, I think either Spalding or Bush last, as William Sixsmith checks into the game and Gibbs will come back to the bench. Sixsmith gets the ball in the corner, bounce pass out to George Smith Jr. He pulls a three off back rim, no good. Charles on the rebound, and once again his length. Pass inside to Smith. And it's going to go off Baruch last. Nice play there by Charles, maybe hesitating a little bit too many times, trying to find the right option. Baruch lead by 15 coming in on 5 minutes remaining here in the first half.
We talk about that Baruch size yet again. There's not a player out there that could stand tall with Asaph Charles coming in at 6'9". Talk about the height. Good block right there.
Alan Villar and Andre Harris will check in as George Smith Jr. and Asaph Charles comes to the bench. Back in the game for the Cougars is number 11, Travis James. Darrell Spalding will come to the bench. And Cougars will come with the full court trap. It'll be Bryler Page right into the lane. He loses it as he was going up with it. Looks like he had to adjust in midair, and Sonera going the other way for Medgar Evers. And it's going to be 2 shots for Musa Sonera. Foul's going to be on number 1, Jack Sixfifth, his second foul of the game.
2 shots for Musa Sonera.
Sonera off on the first. Musa Sonera really struggling from the free throw line this year, only 40% from the line. And he banks that one home. He is now 17 of 42 from the line on the season. Now Bryler Page in the front court has Bonilla on him left wing. Zucchino up top, James all over him. Back to Bryler. Bryler going to drive right baseline, gives it off to Villar inside. Right-handed shot is good, and with his reach, he's really able to go around the defender and just lay it up with that right hand.
Right, we've seen a couple of moves by Alan Villar in this game today and throughout the season of him, just going around his defender and just going with that scoop layup.
It's really hard to get position on him, especially when he catches the ball that close to the block. And it's going to be a travel there on number 14, Musa Sonera.
Now the Bearcats are in an interesting position right now, being up by 15 with 4 minutes left here in the first half to extend their lead even further.
Checking back into the game is number 12, Japheth Thomas. Bryler Page has a right wing. Bonilla on him, gives it up to Zucchino. Travis James all over him. Zucchino now has to dribble back and spins back into the lane. Nice behind the back dribble. Looking for options. Bryler Page back door, and it rolls in.
Good play by Zucchino, watching the entire court and finding the cutting Bryler Page back door with that layup.
Now Thomas has it. Nice move with the left hand, just off the left side of the rim, and Villar comes away with that rebound.
Thomas got a quality shot on that one.
Nice crossover move by Bryler Page. He's into the lane, looking for options. Hand off to Villar. A little too strong, but he gets fouled and go to the line to shoot 2.
Fouls on number 12, Japheth Thomas. Thomas' second personal foul, the team 7. Alan Villar, 2 shots.
Alan Villar only shooting 48% from the line as he's off on the first. Make that 47% from the line. 11 of 24 on the season. And he knocks down the second. So James into the front court working on Zucchino. Goes into the lane, kicks it out. Sutton, left corner 3. Just short. Zucchino comes away with the rebound. Nice crash there by the Bearcats.
Yeah, for the Cougars right now, Sutton has been putting up that shot today, and it's just not been falling.
Villar has it now on the block, working on Thomas. Villar gets position with the right hand, able to finish.
Here, a little shout from Villar. They can't hold him down there. Thomas is trying everything that he can, but Villar is using his height and his body to muscle his way through the defender.
Villar with 9 off the bench. And it's going to be a turnover there by number 22, Webb, for the Cougars, and it'll go back to Baruch.
Let's see if going back down court, they go ahead and try to find Villar in the paint again.
And the real problem, I think, for the Cougars has been on the defensive end more so than the offensive end.
Right.
Letting Baruch shoot an impressive 61% from the field. At that point, I mean, granted you're only shooting 27%, but you're not really going to compete in a lot of games if you're letting your team opposition shoot 61%.
Right, you're talking about the Bearcats right now who are hitting on all cylinders, and the Medgar Evers, they're shooting 26% from the field, with their leading scorers being Webb with 10 points and everybody else around 2, 4 points, and 1 point. So it's definitely a frustrating time right now for the Cougars as they try to find some answer on the offensive end and slow down the Bearcats on the defensive end.
And for all that height we were talking about, they're really having a problem with Alan Villar in the low block. and George Smith Jr. for that fact. But and Andre Harris been able to have a couple shots there as Baruch able to come away with that missed opportunity. Still controlling the ball here on the offensive end is Andre Harris. Gives it off to Bryler Page. 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Bryler Page throwing it to Zucchino.
But you just see that right there, Bryler Page. I guess the Bearcats are realizing something as they can get if they can get inside the paint, the Cougars are going to collapse, and that's just going to open up the three-point shooters.
Heard the Cougars coaches talking about that at the last time out, about how they're collapsing on everything and really leaving some of the shooters open as Justin Sutton, able to finish in the paint. William Sixsmith bringing it up. Sutton on him. Sixsmith into the front court. Gives it out to Zucchino off his right hand, though, and it's going to go out of bounds. Sloppy play there again by Baruch on back-to-back possessions.
Yeah, that was a tough play right there. Sixsmith probably should have just slowed down a little bit, gathered himself before he tried to find Zucchino over there in the corner.
Now James has it. Hands off to Sutton, who replaces James up top. Webb has it, thinks about the shot, goes underneath, comes all the way back around. It's James in the corner, back to Webb. Webb thinks about the shot, but Villar's on him. Villar almost a full foot taller than Webb, and the foul's going to be on number 20, Joseph Zucchino.
Foul was on number 20, Joe Zucchino. Corner one for Sean checking into Bearcats lineup.
That's his first. Checking into the game for Zucchino is number 24, Jack Reese. Minute 11 remain here in the half. Baruch lead 40-21. Webb at the line for the first of the 1-on-1 is able to knock that down, so he'll get a second. Cuts it to 18. And Webb knocks down the second. So it'll be Reese in the backcourt. Now Page will bring it up, and the Cougars let off on the defense. Reese into the front court. Travis James picks him up there. Andre Harris has an out top. Scenaro on him as well. Bounce pass inside to Villar. Villar on the block. Gives it off to Page. Left-handed layup, no good. Andre Harris right there for the finish on the rebound. 48 seconds remaining here in the first half. Baruch lead by 19.
On offense and on defense, the Bearcats are now hitting on all cylinders.
Sutton's three, no good. Ball's tipped around, and now it comes to the hands of Andre Harris. 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. Jack Reese walks it up. He goes around James, pulls it back, and will set up the offense. Villar has it up top, looking for options. Back to Jack Reese, right wing. Takes the pick from Villar. Thinks about the bounce pass inside, comes out to Harris. Now William Sixsmith. He's open, shot's a little short. Fighting for it, Sutton comes away with it. 10 seconds remaining here on the game clock. Sutton comes into the lane, gives it out to Webb on the wing. Webb drives, looking for options. He gets blocked from behind. Shot has to go up now. It's going to be James. Does he get it off? Shot's going to be no good. They're going to say he got it off after the buzzer. And that's going to do it here in the first half. Baruch 42. Medgar Evers 23. And Jamal, if you're Baruch, you got to like the effort you're getting from, well, if you're Coach Elise, you got to like the effort you're getting on both ends of the court.
Let's talk about this, Dave. The Bearcats right now shooting a little bit under 60% from the field, shooting 50% from three-pointer, and they have 25 rebounds with over 6 offensive rebounds, and that's been giving them more possessions on the offensive end, and that's been leading them to now shooting over a little bit under 60%. But if you have a team that's shooting over 50% from the field, 50% from three-pointer, that's a recipe for winning. And if you're the Cougars, that's a recipe for disaster.
And the Cougars on the other end only shooting 27% from the field, 2 of 14 from downtown. So if you're Coach Elise, you have to be happy with the defensive effort and the active hands from the Bearcats.
Let's talk about on the defensive end, the Bearcats 19 rebounds and Medgar Evers 9. So on the defensive end, they're making sure they're not giving them more opportunities to go ahead and get an offensive rebound and get an extra possession. So right now for your leaders, for your Bearcats, you have Andre Harris with 11 points, 6 boards. Coming in behind him is Alan Villar, who's came off the bench and has been balling, 9 points and 3 rebounds. Followed by William Sixsmith with 2 early threes in the game. with Jack Sixsmith and Bryler Page with 5 points, respectively, and George Smith finished in rounding off the scoring with 4 points. Now, what we've been seeing from the Bearcats right now is that on offense, they're moving the ball and they're finding their open players inside the paint. With Alan Villar coming off the bench, took about 9 early points, 4 for 6. And it was dominant points where he went against his defender, went at him, went around him, was able to get some quality buckets. I think that's going to be a good recipe for the Bearcats to go back to once they get back here into the second half.
And even the shots that he's missed, we saw the last one there, he missed at the rim, but Andre Harris right there for the follow-up to put it right back in. So when Baruch has been missing some shots, to your point, 6 offensive boards, they've been able to crash. We've seen Andre Harris either 2 or 3 times really be at the rim off a miss and able to finish right after one of his teammates missed. Alan Villar to be the latest.
And if the Bearcats can continue to do that and come out with the same recipe they had in the first period, coming over for the second period, the second half, they can walk out of here victorious in the Arc Arena.
And you're talking about Bryler Page, only 5 points. William Sixsmith, only 6 points. So these are players that are double-digit scorers that haven't been putting in their buckets in yet. And if you're Medgar Evers shooting at the clip that you're shooting at, you could see this could be really worrisome. And if you're not careful, it could turn into a little bit of a rout here in the second half, because 19, this could easily be 30 if you're not careful.
Yeah, and with the only bright spot for the Medgar Evers Cougars is Sean Webb with 12 points. With 2 early threes in the game, shooting around 44% for the afternoon. And following him is Justin Sutton with 6 points and 2 boards, 3 for 9 from the field. So if the Cougars are going to definitely turn it around, it's going to definitely start with them getting some quality defensive stops and converting on the offensive end, because they've had opportunity to do so, just can't get the ball to drop. And that's a credit to the Bearcats defense, as they've been playing very well.
Sean Webb, very impressive, hitting both the team's threes. I thought he came off with like a bit of a spark plug at the beginning of the half when he came off the bench. The worrisome is it seems like a lot of times when he gets the ball seems to stick a little bit.
Right.
Already having 9 shot attempts here in the first half. Not only playing. 11 minutes. So ball definitely sticking a little bit more, I think, and less ball movement. I think maybe Medgar Evers needs a little bit more ball movement in total to find some more open shots. A lot of hero ball maybe in the first half.
Yeah, a lot of players just want to, especially from Justin Sutton. He had a lot of shots that once he caught the ball, one dribble, shot up and pull, probably wasn't the best shot that he might want to take at that time. But you see a lot of them wanting to play hero ball, but not importantly, they're not looking for each other. And then on the defensive end, when they come back down on the court, once they try to get settled down and get into their set, the Baruch Bearcats are already ahead of them and probably finding the cut-in player to the basket every time.
They've had their way in the post as well, has Baruch. So at halftime, Baruch lead 42-23 here at the Arc Arena. We'll be back in about 7 minutes to preview the second half. You're watching Baruch Basketball on YouTube channel, Baruch Bearcat Broadcasting.
When you're in college, you kind of find out who you are. And throughout your 4 years, you develop yourself with all the different experiences, which leads into dedicating yourself to your community, to your family. So when you're a senior, you're coming out a well-rounded person.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests outside of the classroom and outside of the court or field. I've had the ability to get into different activities and organizations, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
Getting to be involved in a lot of different things, ranging from obviously being a student athlete to getting involved with my campus and my community, and not only being allowed to do that, but being encouraged to do that.
The opportunity to be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, to have the professors know me on a personal level, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference. It really helps you develop thinking from other people's perspectives and looking at problems from outside the box.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
I've definitely learned how to really be myself. I found out, yes, I am actually a good leader, and yes, I can actually put myself forward because I am good enough. I can do it.
Coming in to college, I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of different career goals, and I've learned so much about myself that I was always like growing and changing.
When I got to college, it forced me to step up and become more of a leader, and I think that was something I had the capability of doing, and forever grateful that being at a Division III school gave me that opportunity.
You have to dedicate your time in the classroom, you have to dedicate your time in the gym, on the field, on the court.
Our coaches and the entirety of the athletic department, they valued the student athlete going out into community and trying something new and getting involved in campus life.
You can get involved in so many different things. So the possibilities are truly limitless for what you can do with your college experience. You can kind of make it your own in the Division III setting. So I would encourage people who want to have flexibility to pursue different interests and passions to go D3.
Welcome back to the Arc Arena here on the campus of Baruch College, heart of Manhattan. 42-24, Baruch lead after one. Jamal Chapman alongside David Justin. Jamal, a great defensive effort here and offensive effort, but more so on the defensive side from the Bearcats.
Great defensive effort. Thanks, guys, for being back with us here. And we talk about the defensive end. 27% from the field that the Bearcats are holding the Medgar Cougars to, and 20% from three-pointer. While on the other end, the Bearcats are shooting 58% from the field and 50% from three. They're definitely doing it on both ends, from the three-pointer inside with the two-pointer, and it's on the defensive end, causing turnovers and getting defensive stops.
And Baruch, very impressive so far. So we're about 30 seconds away from tip here to start the second half of action. In the fourth half of our doubleheader, the ladies won earlier at 71-59, beating the Medgar Evers Lady Cougars. And Jamal, how, being up by 18 at this point, how important is it for Medgar Evers to really get a hot start? Because if they're not careful, Baruch may be winning by 30 come 5 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, as they seen in the beginning of the game, the Baruch Bearcats jumped out to an early lead, being up by 10 in the early going of the first half. But if the Medgar Evers College don't come out here with a lot of passion and coming out here to score the basket, the Baruch Bearcats are going another run just like that, because they like to come out early and often, pick up the pace, and get some buckets early on in the games and coming out of half. So for the Bearcats, they definitely want to come out doing a lot of what they did in the first half, and the Cougars need to do the opposite and get some quality shots and move around the ball.
So this first 5 minutes, in my opinion, is very important, probably the most important 5 minutes of the ball game,
right,
in order for the Medgar Evers Cougars to make an opportunity for a comeback. Because if they let the lead stretch too long, by the 10-minute mark, this game could be over. It's going to be the same starting five for both teams. It's going to be Spalding, Sanera, Sutton, Thomas, and Bonilla for the Cougars. And for the Bearcats, nice play there by Sanera inside to cut that lead to 16. And for the Bearcats, it's going to be Harris, Sixsmith, Smith Jr., and Bryler Page. Now Jack Sixsmith comes around to screen from his brother. Now William Sixsmith, left wing three, rattles that one home with Sutton all over him. Nice shot there by Sixsmith.
And that's what we talked about earlier. You don't want the Bearcats to start catching fire from three, start moving around the ball and getting some twos going, because that's going to put the pressure on you to come down to the other end and play that hero ball that they were playing early on in the first half.
Spalding has it now, working on Sixsmith, gives it up top to Sutton. Bryler Page on him. Sutton inside to Thomas, bounce pass to Sanera. It's going to be a kick ball, and it's going to stay with Medgar Evers.
I always find those plays tough, because it's not that he initially wanted to kick the ball. It's just the fact that he's going towards to grab it, and your foot inadvertently kicks it.
So they're going to set up the play shot clock there again, and it'll be Medgar Evers to inbound. Sutton now, pull-up jumper, baseline jumper, knocks that one down. Already 2 of 2 are the Cougars in the second half, and they understand the importance of the early portion of the second half as well.
Definitely got to keep this game close.
They just need some help now, some stops at the defensive end. As Andre Harris has it now, Baruch wearing their home whites going right to left. Now the double team on Harris. Now it's cross court to Bryler Page. Pulls up on the three. Shot's a little too long. I don't like that defensive effort against Harris on the far end. And it'll be Spalding into the front court for the Cougars. Sutton baseline jumper. Not the shot you probably want there. Sutton's quick to pull. Bonilla on the baseline as the Cougars have the ball back. Turnover there. Jack Sixsmith steals it and gives it right back. All in one play. Bonilla's three's no good. Rebounded there by Sanera, who tries to finish with the right hand a little too strong.
Yeah, Sanera should have just slowed down a little bit on that play, but he was able to come down with the rebound.
Few opportunities there for the Cougars, and if you're Coach Nigro, you need to see your team make some shots right there as Jack Sixsmith is fouled as he goes to the rim.
Bearcats doing what they do, stay aggressive. Jack Sixsmith will be going to the line for 2.
Jack Sixsmith currently a 71% free throw shooter on the season. But he's off on the first. Checking into the game, number 23, Timothy Bush. That'll send Japhet Thomas to the bench with 4 fouls. And you can see he's a little bit frustrated as he comes off the court.
Definitely not a good day for Thomas.
I think he's a little bit frustrated with his defensive effort there.
Yeah.
By some of his teammates. And Jack Sixsmith uncharacteristically off on both.
You know, once you start to get down on the offensive end and you start to, the other team starts to pull away, you know, the effort to give on both ends of the court usually goes away. And today you've been seeing that with the Cougars.
Scenario on the travel there, and that'll give the ball back to the Bearcats. 2.5 minutes gone here in the second half. Jack Sixsmith up top to Harris. That's going to be a travel on number 15, Andre Harris. A little bit of a hop step, and then took the extra step after. I don't think he agreed with that call, trying to get an explanation from the ref as he comes back down the court. Now Sutton has it. Let's see if he moves the ball. Nope. Travel. And it's almost predictable now that when Sutton receives the ball that he's going to go up for the shot. Very little ball movement from Justin Sutton, the senior from Canarsie.
Seems like it's an ISO dominant game for every player. Once they get the ball in their hands, kind of doing to go one-on-one and try to put up a shot.
Skylar Page now crossover move into the lane. Nice hop step there. He hits the deck. Ball still loose. Smith Jr. comes away with it but throws it away, and Musa Sonera comes away with it for the Cougars. He'll slow it up. Smart play there by Sonera. He hits the deck, and that's going to be travel.
It's a lot of frustration on the side of the Medgar Cougars.
I think that's Sonera and Spalding having words about the last play that Sonera got called for the travel on. Now Bryler Page has a pick from Harris. And the foul is going to be on number 15, Joan Carlo Bonilla. And I will say that we see probably a few times every year an opposing team comes in and either gets frustrated or starts yapping at each other's teammates and stuff. And for the most part, I can't really recall a time, that Baruch probably had that problem where their teammates were not getting along and not being able to talk stuff out without showing like emotion. I mean, I just feel like they'll have conversations throughout the game, but they'll never really get on each other.
Right. You usually see them either when somebody's getting either doing too much or just a little bit discombobulated, not flowing within the gameplay. They usually call a team huddle. They usually talk it out on the court, and then they break, and then they go back to getting back to business.
And in truth, I mean, if we think about it over the long term, about the 4 years that we've been doing this, we've seen mostly successful teams with the Bearcats. So maybe that has a little bit something to do with it. But even during the hard times, it's not like they really get on each other and you know, they always seem to pick each other up positively.
And that's a testament to a great group, you know.
And some coaching as well.
What do you do when you get down? What do you do in, you know, the moment of adversity? How do you answer the call?
Bonilla now in the corner. Spalding into the lane, trying to find Sonera. Passes over his head, and it'll go back to the Bearcats.
Now the Bearcats back on offense with Jack Sixsmith bringing the ball up the court.
Sean Webb and Naquava Jackson into the game for the Cougars. It'll be Harris up top. Harris gives Bryler Page a pick right. Back into Harris now on the block. He'll work on Jackson. Backing him down. Gives it outside to Jack Sixsmith. He's out of bounds as he lets that shot go, so it'll be a turnover and go back to the Cougars. Baruch still, though, up by 18 with 15-24, only letting up 28 points so far And as the time clicks on, I mean, obviously the momentum is just going to keep going towards the Bearcats.
Definitely right now. You know, the Cougars came out early. They had some good quality offensive possessions with a couple of points early on in the second half, but they just not have looked good in the last couple of offensive possessions.
Now Sutton has it up top. Let's see if the ball moves here. Sutton working on Page, goes into the lane. Sutton's shot is good. He's able to knock that one down.
You can definitely see Sutton is a great player for the Cougars. You don't really see a lot of production from anybody else going right now.
Sutton also seems like a good player for Sutton.
Yeah.
Which is also could be pretty dangerous if he doesn't have his game on. Bryler Page now inside to Andre Harris. Can't finish, a little too short. Jackson comes away with it for the Cougars. Baruch lead by 16, 14-40. Ooh, 14-40 remaining. Sorry about that. The ball looked like it was coming right at us. Here, now Sutton has it. He's going to work on Page, and he gives it up. It's going to be Webb up top.
Page playing lockdown defense right now.
Sutton's high floater. Now Reese swings it across court. It's going to be Page that keeps it in bounds. Up top to Reese. Sanera on him. Reese goes right around him, and his shot, I think, might have got blocked from behind, and it's going to stay with Baruch underneath. 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Nice play there by Jack Reese to get right around Musa Sanera. And steal there by Sanera. Harris all over him, and he fouls. A nice play there by Harris to make sure that Sanera doesn't finish with the left hand.
Sanera's been very active for the Cougars today. Although Sanera hasn't having a lot of stats on the stat line, he has 7 rebounds, but actively those stats that don't show up on the stat line, he's definitely been giving a lot of effort for his team today.
He's off on the first. Sanera is definitely the guy you want at the line, shooting only 40% on the season. Knocks down the second. Baruch lead by 15. Can the Cougars slowly push back this lead a little bit? Chisel away at what was once an 18-point deficit here in the second half. Reese has it up top. Page, right wing 3, knocks that one down. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Bryler Page.
Baruch pushed the lead back up to 18.
Webb against 3 people, gives it off to Sanera, able to finish. Nice play there by Sean Webb, and I think out of all the players on the Cougars, he's impressed me the most here in this ball game.
He's definitely been doing on the offensive and the defensive end, causing pressure. And whenever he gets the ball in the offensive end, trying to find the basket.
And it's going to stay with Baruch on the jump ball. Sixsmith, his 3 blocked there by Sutton. That'll be Baruch's ball on the far side with 9 seconds remaining on the shot clock, 13 minutes remaining here in the ball game. Baruch lead by 16. Now Reese has it up top. It's Reese, Page, Harris, Sixsmith, and George Smith Jr. Page into the lane. He gets fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Foul's going to be on number 5, Naquava Jackson. His second.
Bryler Page, 2 shots.
Bryler knocks down the first. And he's good on the second.
Now the Cougars bringing the ball up into the front court. You have Webb, guarded by Reese.
Now Sutton has it, takes the pick left from Bush, excuse me. That's going to be an offensive foul on number 23, Bush. It's like a moving pick.
All right, you got Jack Reese over here working the ball over, kick it over to Bryler Page. Now it's bringing the ball, kick back over to Reese over on the left wing. He's looking to kick the ball now. Harris has it. Harris looks to drive straight into the lane, but he have a block by Bush. Now Sutton coming the other way, coast to coast. He pulls up for the shot. Just rims out.
Offensive board though there by the Cougars. 3-ball there. By by Jackson's no good. Now outside to Sutton. Sutton off glass. He's able to knock that one down. And it's going to be a timeout for Coach Nigro and the Medgar Evers Cougars with 12:10 remaining. Baruch lead 51-35. You're watching Baruch Basketball on YouTube channel. Baruch Bearcats Broadcasting.
In New York City, there is a place for people that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, where if you work hard, the possibilities are endless. A place to learn, train, and play. In that order, the City University of New York Athletic Conference. This is where it all comes together. Find your people, be a part of a team, and don't just play the game, change the game. Champions aren't born, they're built. The City University of New York. Be exceptional.
And welcome back to the Arc Arena. Baruch lead 51-35, 12:10 remaining here in the ball game. And as the clock runs down, Jamal, the Cougars' lives are running out.
Definitely right now the Cougars are relying heavily on the play of Justin Sutton here in the second half. You know, you had Sean Webb being their leader back in the first half. He came up big with a lot of points, 12 points on the afternoon for him. But Justin Sutton, these last couple possessions have been vital for the Cougars. But the Bearcats on the other end has definitely answered the call with the 3 by Bryler Page early on from a couple minutes ago in the second half. So if the Bearcats continue to do what they do and what they have been doing throughout this game to put them in this lead, they'll be good to go and walk out here victorious.
Baruch's been very good at closing out games this year when having the lead. Fortunately, they've had the lead quite a few times, but also the fact that they've been able to close out games the right way has been impressive.
And now in closeout games, more importantly at home, when they're now 5-0 currently.
As William Sixsmith knocks down a 3 and looks back at his bench for a little support.
Right. You know, if there's going to be the one place you're going to find support, is your own bench. There we go.
Then again, we've seen William Sixsmith also give a little toot to opposing benches this year, so not a problem there. I assume he was talking to his bench. I also saw Sutton in the corner there.
Right. I mean, hey, if you want to run your mouth and I put up that 3 and I make you quiet and I quiet you, what else can I do, you know? I like it from my players, you know? You want to see that passion. You want to see that fight.
That gives William Sixsmith 12. Zucchino in the game for the Bearcats. Sutton working on him. Sutton just doesn't move the ball whenever he gets it. Now it's Webb, left corner wing 3. Bush, nice tip in there on the rebound.
Yeah, that was definitely the Sutton and Webb show just now, with Sutton putting up the shot and just Webb shooting it as soon as they got it.
I'm shocked, too, because I haven't heard the coaches of Medgar Evers, as we sit beside their bench, mention as Sixsmith pulls off that straightaway 3, knocks that one down, giving a team leading 15. Coach Alisi's going to call a timeout. Baruch take their lead up to 20 with 11:05 remaining. But Jamal, I haven't really heard either Coach Nigro or Coach Oranger, Bigelow, or Keenan really on the Medgar Evers side really say anything to Sutton about the fact. I mean, it's blatantly obvious to us that every time he gets the ball, he's putting up the shot. I just don't see why they're comfortable with that, especially when it hasn't really been a recipe for success, currently trailing by 20.
And it definitely hasn't been a recipe for success, seeing that their record is now 3-9 and 2-2 in the Community Conference. And Sutton now shooting 16 shots. It's like as soon as he gets the ball, he doesn't trust anybody on the court and he's just going straight at the rim, and he's going to chuck it up. If he gets trapped, he passes the ball, but he's looking to get it back. But it's just unfortunate because between him and Webb, they have 26 shots together, and then right after that, Bonilla only has 6 attempts, and everybody else has around 3 or 2 attempts. So it's definitely no ball movement happening right now, and they only have 4 assists on the afternoon.
He's averaging 22 points a game. The next closest person, he shot 245 field goal attempts. The next closest person on his team with the field goal attempts is 112. So if you look at that, and a guy's only shooting 40% from the field, yeah, it's a decent number, but it's nothing remarkable. 28% from 3. You just think that's not really a recipe for winning basketball, and if you're going to play hero ball, you really have to rely on him almost putting up 40 in certain games to win the ball game.
It seems like for the Cougars, they live and die by Justin Sutton.
Now it's Webb into the lane, gives it off to Sonera, who's blocked emphatically by Villar.
Alan Villar with sending it right back to him.
Zucchino gets fouled as he'll go to the line to shoot 2. The foul's going to be on number 22, Sean Webb. It's going to be an offensive foul, It's going to be on number 20, Joseph Zucchino. I thought he was inside the protected area.
Yeah, now it's the Webb show.
Webb with Reese on him, takes the pick. Webb forced to give it up to Spalding in the corner. His 3 is good, able to knock that one down, cuts the lead to 17. 10.5 remaining here in the ball game. Spalding on Reese, trying to pump up his team defensively. Reese right into the lane, nice reverse layup, no good, tipped around, ball comes away with Webb. He pushed into the front court, Sutton gets it, so he'll go right into the rim. Sutton hits the deck hard, and he's still down behind the basket, holding his head, and it's going to be
seems like Sutton wanted to go for the dunk on that play.
It's going to be a bench warning. As I don't know, I kind of thought it was a foul. I'm not really sure. He kind of went up very wild, and in the moment, it looks like he tried to either lay it down or.
To me, it seemed like he wanted to bang it on him. He seemed like he wanted to dunk that one right there.
It was a very aggressive play there by Sutton. And we're going to take a quick commercial break with. No, we're going to keep it live. Sorry, with 10 minutes left, as Sutton gets helped out by the trainer on the court. He is in physical pain, and he is still down.
See, go back.
We're getting a look at the replay here. It looks like he goes up. May have been some contact. Jamal, what do you think?
I think Andre Harris is there to meet him there, and he think he got some contact on the ball, but it looks like Sutton was going up there to put down to either dunk it. That's what it seemed like to me, just the way he was going.
And Sutton gets up.
It's good to see Sutton get up and walk off, But by looking at that replay, it's really hard to tell, It seemed like Harris got a little bit of the ball there.
And Sutton's going to lay down behind the bench and get looked at some more.
Okay. So by looking at the replay, it looks like he's holding his head. It looked like he kind of landed on his hip.
Yeah, and that's what they're stretching out.
And it's going to be tough right now because they definitely need Sutton out there, as he's been their lifeline on offense right now.
It's going to be a technical foul on number 32, Darryl Spalding, and that's going to send William Sixsmith to the line for technicals. And I was actually just thinking to myself that this game could get a little chippy now with some of the plays that have been happening and some of the verbal abuse sent towards the refs.
Right, from the bench, now on the players. That's the one thing you don't want to happen. and then now it has the potential to be a blowout with them being up by 17 points. You know, tempers start to flare. People get a little bit angry. We just hope that this game could finish off with no problems going forward.
Baruch lead by 19, 9:51 remaining, and it's going to be Baruch's basketball side out on the far side of the court. Reese will have it. It'll be Spalding on him. Sinera to Sixsmith. Bounce pass backdoor to Reese. Somehow, Zakino, excuse me. Somehow finally got to him, and he's able to finish at the rim.
Yeah, that one could have been stolen.
Bonilla's pass to Bonilla goes right through his hands and goes out of bounds, and it'll be Baruch's ball. Checking to the game, number 11, Travis James.
That's a good last name.
Sixsmith now has it. Gives it off to Reese. Finds Andre Harris. Gets blocked at the rim. Nice play there by Sinera. And it's going to be Spalding into the front court. Bounce pass out to James. James almost loses the dribble. Gives it over to Webb, left wing, takes the pick. Sinera gets the loose ball. And some sloppy offense here from the Cougars with 13 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
Definitely need to settle it down. They're going to make a run here.
And Sixsmith bails him out with a foul. It's going to be his first. Second to the game now is number 3, Justin Sutton. Jack Sixsmith comes in for Jack Reese.
Baruch Bearcats now find themselves up by 21. A little bit under 9 minutes to go in this final half.
That 3 there by Spalding as he knocks that one down. 61-43. The 18-point lead is still intact from the beginning of the half. Jack Sixsmith brings it up, has Alan Villar up top. It's going to be an offensive foul. Spalding takes it in the chest, and Villar just runs him over. It'll be the Cougars' ball, 8:37 remaining here in the ball game.
Yeah, that was a tough play right there. Villar probably a little bit out of place up there, driving all the way from the three-point line all the way at the top of the court, but probably could have kicked it off to probably find a better shot on that one. And we found him around the block.
Sutton gives it off to Webb. Webb's going to drive. Can't finish. Bush's tip-in is there, and he's able to finish from inside. Nice play there by Timothy Bush.
Now the Cougars only down 16 with a little bit over 8 minutes to go in this game. It's still anybody's game. Anything can happen.
Now Jack Sixsmith has it to William, gives it to Andre Harris. Andre Harris baseline. Working on Sinera. Andre Harris, step back jumper, a little short. Alan Villar able to corral the rebound and finish with the left hand. Once again, Villar's positioning inside. Unable to move him once he gets there.
Right, and using that size because as soon as he caught that rebound, Thomas could not go around him to go up there and contest that shot.
Webb straightaway 3, no good. Jack Sixsmith comes from the guard position for the rebound. Nice play there. Andre Harris now has it. Looks like it's off the shoulder of Sinera. Now Webb right into the lane. And it's going to be a blocking foul. The foul's going to be on number, I think it's going to be on Joseph Sakino, number 20. His third foul. Baruch lead by 18. A chance to extend, chance for Medgar to cut into that. George Smith Jr. and Bryler Page to come back in as William Sixsmith and Alan Villar come to the bench. The lead is 16. After Webb knocks down those free throws. Jack Sixsmith trapped in the corner, gives it to Zakino. Back to Sixsmith, breaking down the full court trap. Bryler Page now back up top, Jack Sixsmith. Sixsmith inside, gives it out to Zucchino, corner three. Off back rim, no good. Rebounded, tipped around, it's Bush, comes away with it. As Bush hits the deck, Andre Harris comes away with that. It's going to be out of bounds off Andre Harris last, and I think Coach Nigro wanted a foul there on Harris, and he might have had a point case on that one.
Bearcats definitely need to get under control on this sequence here. It's a little bit under 7 minutes to go in this game, and they don't want the Cougars to start gaining momentum.
Sutton comes into the lane, kicks it out. It's going to be Spalding. His three's no good. Jack Sixsmith comes away with it. It's going to be Sonera who rips it away, and now it'll be Webb. Webb on the right side, drives, and it's going to be a blocking foul on Smith Jr. He was inside the protected area because he was there, I think, before. He was there before Webb got into the lane. However, nice play there by Webb to force Smith deep into the post.
Bearcats got to be careful now with Webb stepping in here. He has an opportunity to cut this lead to 14.
He knocks down the first. 6:42 remaining. Baruch lead by 15. Chance to cut it to 14 right here. Game looked a little bit over. Now it looks like they're cutting into the deficit. It really depends on these next couple possessions what Medgar Evers can do.
Right. If they could get a couple more stops, they could get this lead to single digits.
Bryler Page hits the deck there. I think he might have just got tripped up, either that or a wet spot. Now Jack Sixsmith to Zucchino. Sixsmith up top. Sonera on him. Sixsmith all the way to the rim and able to finish with the right hand off the glass.
Surprised nobody from the Cougars tried to step out or even try to slow him down there on his way to the paint. Kind of just let him go.
There's been a severe lack of help defense on the Cougars so far today. I feel like every time Baruch gets past their primary defender, it takes the Cougars are a little slow to get some weak side help.
Right. And then they come back down on the offensive end and it's just one-on-one ball. But it goes to the benefit of the Bearcats because they usually get low-quality shots when the Cougars play like that. But back with Jack Sixsmith kicking it off to Harris. And it's fouled.
Foul's going to be on number 14, Musa Sonera. That's going to be his first.
Andre Harris, 2 shots.
And he knocks down the first, extends the lead back to 17. Checking into the game, number 11, Travis James. Darrell Spalding comes to the bench. And 2 of 2 of the line is Harris. Baruch again up by 18. So a 4-0 run back for Baruch. Webb now gives it up top to Sutton. Nice play there by Page, forcing him left. Gives up the ball, Sonera, and it's going to be a foul on number 15, Andre Harris.
Fouls on number 15, Andre Harris, his third.
Tim. Travis, come on.
Along
Travis.
with Musa Sonera.
Sonera was able to knock one down, couldn't get the second one to fall. Bearcats now in the backcourt. Bryler Page trap, kick it over to Jack Sixsmith, who kicks it up to George Smith Jr. Now Jack Sixsmith is back, kicks it over to Bryler Page. Now they'll look to run down some time and get into their set. Bryler Page over on the right wing, kicks it over to Andre Harris.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Jack Sixsmith Jr. left wing. Webb on him. Sixsmith goes into the lane. Nice play there by George Smith Jr. to follow up. He gets the basket in before the shot clock runs out.
Nice way to follow through with that for George Smith Jr. and get that buzzer beater.
It's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow is going to go to the Bearcats. So a real opportunity to close out this game.
High post, Tim. 13 up, Tim.
And it looks like the Cougars laying off the full court trap a little bit. Zucchino, nice play there by Bryler Page to find Zucchino backdoor.
Good play by Bryler Page. You saw the Cougars just paying attention to one side of the court and didn't see the cut in Zucchino.
And Baruch have it. 4.5 remaining, up by 21. Baruch could really just run some clock here and start killing off this game.
And we talked a lot about Baruch's execution. You know, there was a little spot right there when the Cougars during the second half, getting the second half, they wanted to come out strong. But the Bearcats at every single point was able to slow them down and find themselves quality shots on the offensive end. This is why they enjoy a comfortable lead right now.
4 players in double figures here for the Bearcats as Bryler Page has it on the far side. Ball's ripped away, though, as he hits the deck. It's going to be Bush over to Webb. Still a loose ball. And it's going to stay with Baruch as with Medgar Evers as it goes off Sixsmith last.
See, that's a great play by Jack Sixsmith. Although it went out of bounds, you know, he was out of position. He saw Webb almost get by him and still was able to tap that ball so it could fall out of bounds. A lot of defense now gets set.
3 ball there by Sutton, and it's going to be a timeout for Coach Nigro. With 30-second timeout, Baruch leads 71-53. 4:06 remaining here at the Arc Arena. You're watching Baruch Basketball on YouTube channel, Baruch Bearcats Broadcasting.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
And welcome back to the Arc Arena. 18-point lead for Baruch, which has been pretty consistent, Jamal, here in the second half.
It's definitely consistent with the Bearcats, you know, falling down at some points, the lead getting back down to 14. But the Bearcats didn't let it go any further as they now enjoy. Right now it's only up by 18, but at one point up by 21. The Bearcats are not only executing on the defensive end, but also on the offensive end, shooting 51% from the field and shooting 50% from three-pointer while holding the Cougars to 32% from the field and 25% from three.
So Jack Sixsmith will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. 3:55 remaining here in the ball game, and it's really just about closing it out here for the Bearcats.
Yeah, that's the goal right now, and they're definitely doing that.
Jamal mentioned earlier, Bearcats currently 5-0 here at the Arc Arena this season, looking to make it 6-0. And when you could defend your home court like this, for most sports, as long as you can go a little around 500 or above 500, you'll find yourselves in a good position going in to the postseason. And right now at 3-3 on the road, combined with 5-0 at home, really making themselves a strong case.
And definitely, if you go on the road and get some quality wins, you may find yourself having the CUNYAC tournament right here in the Arc Arena. And being at home and being able to play so well at home can only play into your advantage.
73-55. Well, actually, it'll probably get you that bye into the later rounds of the CUNYAC tournament. The tournament this year actually is up at City College once again. Baruch making it to the finals, I believe, 2 out of the last 3 seasons. It's going to be a timeout for Baruch with 3:17. Baruch up by 18 points, same score they were up by coming into the half, and they've really been even-keeled here in the second half, Jamal.
Right, definitely been even-keeled throughout the second half, but that's been most of the story between both teams, as both teams have put up 31 points in the second half. You know, this has definitely been a product of what the Bearcats did in the first half, outscoring the Cougars by 18 points.
And a nice start to the busy week that is Baruch basketball. They don't stop here. That goes straight into Monday. York, 7:30, followed by home against Brooklyn. 2 CUNYAC undefeated teams. Right now the men of Brooklyn are playing against Lehman College. We'll try to get you a score if we can. And then at home against Lehman on next Saturday. It is going to be Alumni Day. We won't have a broadcast of it. We'll have a broadcast of the game, but in between the two games will be an alumni basketball game between the basketball alumni here at Baruch. So if you're on campus, come down, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun, and we'll also see a good doubleheader with alumni celebration in the middle. So that's next Saturday. First game, the ladies are at noon, and the men will be playing at 4. So a full day of basketball here at the Arc Arena. Coming in on 3 minutes remaining here in the ball game. It's James now into the lane, bounce past baseline. It's going to be Bush who gets fouled and go to the line. Bush at the line to shoot 2. He's off on the first. It's only his 4th free throw on the season. He goes 1 of 2 at the line. Jack Sixsmith over back to Bryler Page, and the press is back up for the Cougars. And Page has it up top, so an error on him. Pick left, now pick right from Andre Harris. Pick left from Andre Harris. Bryler Page with Spalding on him, now to Jack Sixsmith. Behind the back move, pull up 3-pointer for Harris is good, knocks that one down, and it regains the 20-point lead for the Bearcats. Now baseline jumper for Bush, too strong. Sonera comes away with the rebound, it's ripped away. No, it's not. Sonera comes back away with it. Spalding, step back 3. No good off left rim, and it'll be Jack Sixsmith on the rebound.
Now Andre Harris on the baseline, turnaround, pull-up shot is good. 78-56 with under 2 minutes to go here. Bearcats up by 17. No, excuse me, by 22. Didn't do my math right on that one.
It'll be Andre Harris on the rebound there. So it'll be Jack Sixsmith to bring into the front court, coming in on 1:40 remaining here in the ball game. Ball saved to George Smith Jr., and Sixsmith will be able to run some clock. 1.5 remaining.
Great overall performance by the Bearcats on both ends of the court.
Andre Harris drives, dangerous play, blocking foul. Foul's going to be on number 23, Timothy Bush.
Looks like Coach Alisi is emptying out his bench. We're going to see some time from the reserves as the Bearcats pretty much got this one wrapped up.
That'll be Harris at the line to shoot 2. Harris off on the first, and it'll be a litany of changes as it's Richards, Ormond, Otley into the game for the Bearcats. Into the game for the Cougars, number 5, Naquava Jackson. And number 34, Garvey Mawazi. And Harris good on the second. So Alan Villar checks into the game for Andre Harris, and he'll come to the bench. So the only starter remaining in the game for Baruch is Jack Sixsmith with 1:23 remaining. And that'll be his time to come back out as number 31, Matthew Bantis, checks into the game. Sophomore guard from Brooklyn, New York. Now Jackson has it, gives it off to James, up top to Sonera. Ormond on him. Ball swung around. It's going to be number 24, Andrew Julian checked in, not Garvey Mawazi.
Good rebound there by Villar.
And Otley brings it into the front court. It's going to be a timeout for Coach Alisi, 55 seconds remaining. And checking into the game is number 12 for Baruch, Ian Voss Potts. That's the 6'7" freshman from Benjamin Franklin High School in New Orleans, Louisiana. The ball's going to be tipped away there by Bush, so it'll stay with Baruch with 50.6 seconds remaining here in the game. Michael Richards to inbound. Otley straight to the rim. His shot gets blocked. Looks like Orman gets the rebound. He gets fouled as he goes up, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2, and Baruch lead by 23. A chance to extend it to 25. Foul's going to be on number 23, Timothy Bush. That's his 4th. Nate Ormond at the line to shoot 2. 6'7" freshman from Patchogue, New York. And he's off on the first.
A little frustrated that he missed that one.
A little too strong off back rim. And he knocks down the second, so 80-56, 40 seconds remaining here in the ball game. It's Julian with it, gives it off to Sonera into the paint, gives it off to Bush baseline. Shot's no good. Otley comes away with the rebound. Sonera on him. Otley spins away. And Sonera comes away with the steal from behind. Nice play there. Sonera lays it in off glass. 21.2 seconds remaining.
Definitely tell Sonera is one of those players. You know, he brings a lot of energy, on both ends of the court. Defense, offense. He's definitely going to be a good player for the group. Excuse me.
And Richards gets fouled. The foul's going to be on number 24. Andrew Julian, the 6-foot junior from Prospect Heights High School in Brooklyn. He fouls Richards and will send him to the line to shoot 2. Richards off on the first.
Who's got the sheet with the officials' names? Anybody? We need, the game sheet? Well, SID, John? You got the sheet with the officials' names on it? Yeah. You did that to me, please, because these guys shouldn't be. Yeah, these guys shouldn't be another college game.
Now Julian has it. Bounce pass to Bush. Cross court to Sonera. Sonera's going to drive. He gets fouled. And foul's going to be an Ian Voss Potts. That's going to send Sonera to the line to shoot 2 with 5 seconds remaining. And this should do it. Baruch up by 23. May end as 21, but Baruch, another strong win, another strong showing here at the Arc Arena.
And that'll move them to 6-0 at home.
And giving them the 10th win on the season.
And moving them to 4-0 in the CUNYAC Conference.
Next game's going to be Tuesday night at York, so the pressure does not slow up. Another must-win game. Not a must-win game, but another key game here in the conference as Orman comes away with that rebound, and that'll do it. So it's going to be 81-59. Baruch win it by 22. So it's York on Monday, Brooklyn College at home. On Wednesday, a key game. We'll be on the call for that one. Women at 5:30, men at 7:30, and then Lehman College at home next week for Alumni Day. But a nice victory here by 22 for the Bearcats.
It's definitely a great victory for the Bearcats that they executed from the beginning all the way through this game. There's been a quality game of good basketball for the first half and the second half.
Andre Harris leading the way today with 20 points, 17 from Sixsmith, 11 from Villar, 10 from Page, and 9 from Jack Sixsmith. So, Jamal, really a lot of scoring from a lot of different places for the Bearcats.
No, it was definitely a lot of great scoring. But more importantly, the flow of the offense was very good for the Bearcats, finding each other on different cuts, finding the open man, and not playing hero ball. The Baruch Bearcats this evening had 19 assists as a team.
And really, Baruch really ended the game in the first half. You're talking about an 18-point lead at halftime. Ended the game up by a 22-point score. But you pretty much closed them out in the first 20 minutes. Got to give you confidence definitely going into the second half with that much room for error. Granted, Baruch played very well in the second half. Didn't really need that much room, but it just takes all that pressure off when you're able to come out and score like that.
But it wasn't as easy as the first half because, you know, the Cougars came out very hungry in the beginning of the second half. They came out strong. They were getting their buckets. Things were falling. On the defensive end, they were causing problems for the Bearcats. But at every time, as the Cougars start to get a little bit closer, the Bearcats start to push back and extend that lead. And that's why he was able to walk out of here victorious with a 22-point victory.
Medgar Evers, 6 of 26 from downtown today. Jamal, how much was it of, granted they didn't shoot well from the outside, but how much was it of the 26 shots forcing it because you're down so much initially? Or was that the game plan that you think Coach Nigro wanted to go with?
I think that became the game plan once you got down by so much, you know, because at that point you wouldn't have to put up as much threes. But then the Cougars just started to play hero ball where it just became the Sutton and Webb show where they both were either if they get the ball, they're going to go ahead and score. And there was no flow to the actual offense for the Cougars, only having 7 assists throughout the entire game. And that's not a recipe for winning basketball.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Every time I feel like Sutton caught the ball, it seemed like he was just going to go ISO. He had 18 points, but granted it took him 18 shots to get there. He shot 45% from the field. Webb with 16 on 4 of 12 shooting, and Sonera ended up with 10 and 16 boards, also very impressive. Like the hustle play there from Sonera.
Yeah, definitely. 16 rebounds, 10 points. You know, shooting 60% from the field. Definitely Sonera is somebody they may want to see if they could get some more shots to. But overall on the Baruch side, we have Andre Harris, 20 points, 9 rebounds. William Sixsmith, 17 points, 5 for 7 from three-pointers. You have Alan Villar with 11 and 7 boards. Bryla Page with 10 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and 1 three-pointer. You got Jack Sixsmith, who played a very good game today. 4 rebounds, 9 points, 4 assists, 1 three-pointer, followed by George Smith with 4. Zakino with 4. Asaph Charles with 2. Richards and Orman with 1 each.
So that's going to do it for us here on the campus of Baruch. Once again, doubleheader. Your final scores first for the ladies, beating the winless Medgar Evers College Cougars 71-59, and then the second game of your doubleheader, the men's game, Baruch 81, Medgar Evers 59. So a blowout performance here. So this has been Baruch Basketball on YouTube channel, Baruch Bearcats Broadcasting. For Jamal Chapman, I'm David Just. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, New York.